All right, Cap. So, Cap, I know that we wanted to like try to get this going right before you go work on the boat because you are the captain of the ship, and the ship cannot leave without you.
Facts, facts, facts. All right, so I mean, let's get right into it, man.
Yeah. So we wanted to address this whole women's basketball, NCAA, WNBA, Asia Wilson, Caitlin Clark. Man, dude, this subject really is starting to grind my gears. I got so on one half of social media, on the black side, everybody's complaining that they're not getting Caitlin Clark money. And then on the white side, I got some dude telling me that, oh, I'm just mad because Caitlin Clark is popular and she's white. And it's like, it's so annoying. It's so
Well,
annoying. So I just want to lay some stuff out there for you, Cap.
all right,
Caitlin Clark just landed, I think, what, a 7-year, $28 million deal, 8-year, $28 million deal with Nike, right? That's
right.
cool, right?
Yeah,
People don't seem to understand because they're like, well, Asia Wilson is this. First of all, I don't know who Asia Wilson is. I know who Caitlin Clark is. I don't know who Asia Wilson is. You know why? Because I don't care about the WNBA. Oh, but she's a this and she's a that. Dude, there's probably some 7-year-old out there in a Pee Wee league that's the MVP. I don't know their fucking names either because I don't care. I don't care. I don't care about women's basketball. I
damn.
don't care about women's sports. So I know who Caitlin Clark is because there is some unnatural hype machine to try to force feed women's basketball to people when traditionally people don't care about women's basketball. Oh,
I
you're
mean,
just mad because Caitlin Clark is white. No, Caitlin Clark did her thing in college. Do you remember when Gino Auriemma was leading UConn, the Huskies, to like undefeated seasons and they were beating the other chicks by like 40 points a night?
yeah,
They got national press. Did they deserve it? Absolutely, because what they did was so far beyond anybody else, right?
right.
South Carolina was like the second best team of that era, and they got dumped on by UConn.
Yeah.
What happened to all of the female players at UConn that was so dominant over the rest of the NCAA? When they went to the WNBA, where were their $1 million shoe contracts?
Yeah, that doesn't really happen now
Why was that, Cat?
because
Say it for the idiots in the back.
because the WNBA is not as profitable. The WNBA doesn't have as much of a fan base. There's just a massive difference between the WNBA, NBA when it comes to just revenue, income potential overall. Now, you were definitely bumping that single mom song before you started this video because
No,
you come in with this energy and
no,
it's
yo, dude. I'm gonna pick up my phone.
were you doing the dance too? Were you doing the dance before this video?
Dude,
Like,
no, dude, I'm so annoyed, man. I'm so annoyed. I'm trying to talk about the fact that the whole thing about the whole women's basketball thing is overhyped, right? So I get this guy, this white guy, and I don't have a problem with the fact that he's white, okay? She was a college phenom, not manufactured as far as the hype. She did it. If she sucked, no one would care. So my response was, there used to be other college phenoms too. None of them had any real marketing machine behind them. We're about to see if she's the real deal. Talking about Caitlin Clark. If she comes into the pros and has a LeBron-like season and the shoes Nike designed for her aren't crushingly boring or ugly, the hype will become more organic. This is the response I got, Kat. She brought millions of eyes to the games organically because she's good, broke records. You just don't like it because she's the wrong color for you.
so this is the problem I have with this whole debate, and this is just the problem in general I have with people, right? Either you're one side of the aisle or the other regarding any subject, right? So as you said earlier in the video, like the black community is complaining about like Asia, I don't even know her name, whatever her name is, about her not getting these $1 million deals. And then you have the white community being like, oh, you don't like Caitlin Clark because she's white. Let's just keep a realistic viewpoint on this. But Caitlin Clark was phenomenal at the college level. She was really good. She was a great college women's basketball player. Let's not deny her of that. But and I do think she'll bring a little bit more eyes to the WNBA, but I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh, now they're going to have million viewers each game. That's just most likely never going to happen. Ultimately, let's just call it what it is. The WNBA is an inferior product for many reasons, and the only reason it is still in existence is due to the NBA. Now, was her presence pumped by the media? I would say that
Heavily.
I would say that most sports figures figure like their presence is pumped by the media. I mean, geez, you can't even go a first take segment or a undisputed segment when they're talking about the NFL, and they'll somehow kind of put LeBron James in some non sequitur into that conversation. Like the media likes to pump up certain figures. So I get what you're saying, but I think that's just kind of common practice. Whatever's hot at the moment, whatever they know is going to get them clicks, that's what they're going to mention. And that's what Caitlin Clark was doing because she was having a tremendous season. As for her effect on the WNBA going forward, unless she just goes in there and just puts up like insane, not like she's just averaging a triple double. She's just undeniable, just shooting like 50-point nights every single night. And even then, it's like, it's going to the WNBA needs to change its strategy overall if it wants to be successful. But as for this just particular conversation, I would agree with you to a degree, but I'm not going to sit here and say like it's all there's no genuine support. I do think
I believe the vast majority of it is contrived. I mean, everything that we've been seeing on social media, Cap, for years is how inept the WNBA and the women's basketball players are, how the rim needs to be lowered, which I disagree with. I think that they should use the same ball and the same rims as the men, since we're doing this equality thing, right? Everybody. So the thing is that they've been a laughing stock and they have been turning in negative revenues for the entire duration of the existence of the WNBA. Do you know how that's possible? Because they don't get any real support. Nobody watches the games. So you can't tell me that nobody watched the games for the first 27 years and now everybody's a fan and going to tell me that that's organic.
I know. I think women's college basketball has always been more popular than WNBA though.
And still nobody cared.
Well, but I would say it's had more fans than WNBA, right? I don't think that's crazy to say. And then you have somebody like
that's like saying that I have $5 and you have $2. I've got more money than you. We're both broke.
Yeah, but you still got more money. But I think overall though, the college game has more following, and I think that plays into it. Again, is it artificially bumped a bit? Yeah, but I think generally, like, what is Sports Center? What's ESPN? What are they going to talk about, right? They're going to get whatever gets them the clicks, right? And as for the WNBA and the players complaining about particular players that are like quote unquote superstars in the WNBA, I'll just put it blankly. If women actually supported the league would be successful. So that's another conversation I've seen on the internet of like feminist pages posting like, look at the difference between this WNBA player versus NBA player's rookie salary. And I'm like, well, let's just kind of keep it honest here. That NBA player actually brings value. They get a bunch of eyes on the product. That's why they make so much money. If your sport gets no eyes, your sport has no viewership, yeah, you don't even deserve money. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I think a lot of those WNBA players are overpaid at $60,000. What company that works at a forever constant negative income, right? Constantly in the red. What company is going to pay any of their employees? At that point, it's just charity. It's not a business. Like, they're not players. It's a charity. Like, it's the WNBA. The NBA treats the WNBA like they're the American Red Cross and they're helping out these poor little people, get by. If this league was a men's league, it would have folded after 2 years. That's just the truth. So I see these like, oh, this is the salary discrepancy. Like, no. They shouldn't even be earning money. Nobody's watching.
Minimum wage.
If I go to my rec center and I drop like 30, right? Am I expecting to get paid $1 million wages? No, and because I'll argue, you probably get more people watching rec league games than you do the WNBA games, and that's the truth.
You know what's really
So
crazy, Cap? You know what's really crazy? And again, people might look at me like, wow, he's really emotional. But it's just annoying. I'm annoyed, people. The same women that are looking across the island saying, oh, Caitlin Clark just signed a contract where it's $335,000 over 4 years. But look at Victor Wembanyama, who is a 7'4" alien, right?
yeah, I
Right? And it's like, number one, there is something called a collective bargaining agreement.
yeah.
So that means that everybody is under the rookie salary scale, regardless of who they are and how much hype they had in college. And that goes for the women and the men. Victor Wembanyama could not go in there and ask for a $200 million contract because that's not what the collectively bargained agreement between the NBA players and the owners. That is not what they negotiated for. They didn't say, "Hey, we see when we got this new this little collective bargaining agreement that we're about to. We believe that there is going to be a woman that is finally going to make our league relevant. And when there's going to, you see that 10-year-old girl named Caitlin Clark, she's going to become a superstar one day. So we're going to write it into the CBA that she's going to just get NBA money because we just know that she's going to pan out." Do you remember the name Jimmer Fredette?
Oh, I remember Jimmer Fredette.
Okay. Do you remember the name Adam Morrison?
Yep.
How many great white hopes were destroying shit in college and then came into the pros and couldn't even stay in the league?
Listen, don't disrespect Jimmer Fredette. He's a Chinese legend. All right. So, no, but I'm just saying, no, it's true. I mean, sometimes players don't translate.
Right. We don't know what Caitlin Clark is going to be like in the pros yet. Am I mad that she just got an 8-year, $28 million contract? Absolutely not. Why? For the same reason I'm not mad that Asia Wilson, who already has a shoe deal. Everybody's like, oh, but they didn't give anything to the black female player. Asia Wilson has a shoe that's about to drop. She signed her deal before Caitlin Clark. Do you know why nobody knows about it? Because no one gives a fuck about Asia Wilson. Do you know why? She's not marketable. Do you know why? How many times have we seen WNBA players talk about, well, we don't want your support? I saw a tweet a couple years ago. I was actually looking for it before we started recording, and I couldn't find it. But one of the male NBA players was like, yo, let me know when your next game is. And she's like, oh, we don't need your support. What?
Yeah, I remember a viral tweet. I forget which NBA player tweeted this. He's like, oh, number 6.
It was Andre Iguodala.
Yeah, he's like, it's nice.
If you want, I'll pull it up. It was Andre Iguodala. It was Andre Iguodala who was watching a game randomly. It might have been in the finals. I don't know exactly where it was, but Andre Iguodala was like, basically he did not know who the player was. He basically, because that's what happens when you don't know the players on a team. You're just like, you know what? I don't know who this player is, but whoever number whatever was, right? So when you look at this, Cap, look at this, right? Andre Iguodala was just like, I think it might have been like the WNBA finals or some shit like that, right?
Yeah.
Right. And he doesn't know that, they've got like several different fucking patches. There's a Geico patch there. There's an AT&T patch there, a Nike swoosh on there. You don't even know who the people are in the uniform. Yeah. So when you're just randomly flicking and then you're Andre Iguodala, who is a superstar, and you're like, yo, I don't know the person's name because their name is not stamped on their fucking forehead. Hey, whoever that number 23 is, let me go and give her some fucking praise. And the response is, put some respect on my name. Like she's Birdman.
Yeah, I remember that moment. I was like, come on, man. Like, really? Like, just your league is struggling as this. I mean, I think women professional leagues can be successful if they do things to scale, right? And I've talked about that on the Hockey Channel. I do think women's sports can work if they do it with a certain way. The problem with the WNBA, if just a quick note, they are so fucking stubborn and will not take anyone's advice that, you know what, at this point it's like, let the league fail, just let the league keep failing, because if you're not going to take any advice from like NBA legends, like, hey, maybe lowering the hoop like just even a foot
I don't
or
like that
six.
idea, Cap.
Well, right, no, but we had
Because
that
you're basically
right.
saying that the women are bad players and they need like some extra help. They should shoot on the
I mean,
same 10-foot rim as the men.
uh and I don't want to get in a huge debate with this, but like in golf, for example, there's the women tees. I mean, like there's constant sports, right? Like the women's 3-point line is
Yeah, I don't have a
closer.
problem with them shortening the 3-point
Yeah,
line,
but
but I
I
think
just
the rim should be the same for everybody.
but you know that is what it is. But they've just refused any type of advice, even outside of that. And it's like, all right, like if you are just gonna die on this hill, die on this hill, and I'm not gonna feel sorry for you. But like for all these women pages that post like, oh, the salary discrepancy is ridiculous, they should get paid the same as a man. I'm like, no, because if honestly, you should be making no money for playing in a league that's broke.
And if you really have a real problem with it as a woman, then stop spending your time and your money paying attention to Real Housewives of garbage and go watch these women play.
Yeah,
And the same women that complain, some of the same women that complain about this stuff, do you know what they buy the tickets to? They buy the tickets to watch MLB,
yeah,
NFL, NHL,
NBA.
NBA. They're not going to watch the PWHL like they should. Me and you actually watched the game.
Yeah, I still actually do watch. I watch their live streams still. It's just I think, yeah. I mean, if women want women to make more money, then support the leagues. But until you do that, until you put your money where your mouth is, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, dude, I'm just so irritated at this because everybody is using like this circular non-logic, and it's like, listen, we don't know what Caitlin Clark is going to be, but right now, she's on the tip of everybody's tongue. She deserves every promotional dollar she gets. I'm going to go out on a limb, Cap, and say this: we might look back on the 8-year, $28 million contract that Nike gave to Caitlin Clark. And then we're going to say that she's a victim of sexism because she is generating so much money for Nike. But when she signed the contract, Nike didn't know what she was going to be. She could end up being the next Tiger Woods if she's really good in the WNBA and really sells a lot of product. And she might actually deserve, by how much revenue she helped bring to Nike, more than that contract, but not when nobody knew that when she signed the contract. We didn't know that a Caitlin Clark type talent was going to probably come to the WNBA when they signed the CBA they signed. Yeah. This is what you guys agreed to based upon, and you've already said this, based upon their revenue, they should make half the money they make.
No, they should make none of the money they make. I've never worked at a business that never made money and then go into it expecting huge profits. Like, oh, I'm going to expect a huge salary. That's just not how it works. It's just business 101. To pay your employees, you need to make money. There should have been massive, like, company-wide layoffs. Again, how many years has it been for the WNBA?
I think 27.
27? So 27 years of not making a profit. At some point, do we just say, hey, this isn't going to work?
And right? The thing is, they might have lucked out. She could be the savior of the league. She could be.
I hope she is. And that's the thing I'll say. I hope she is the savior. I talked about that in the video I made. Like, I hope she can get the marketing. I hope she can kind of push the league forward. Maybe she can be like a LeBron or a Michael Jordan factor. Maybe.
Do people not understand? You make a good point, Cap. Thank you for mentioning that. Do people not understand that before Michael Jordan, NBA games were on tape delay, and the motherfuckers had the NBA players, they're playing the game was their second job.
Yep.
That's what it was before Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, but the problem is you're in a very entitled generation that they don't want to put the work in, and they don't want to sacrifice. And like, let's be real, the WNBA also has a shorter season. And these players go play elsewhere. I mean, just don't go to Russia. So,
No, don't go to Russia with your weed pen
With your weed pen. Yeah, don't be doing that. Don't be bringing
during
the
wartime.
hash. Yeah, during wartime. Yeah, not too bright. But
And now
but yeah.
everybody's celebrating her like she's Mahatma Gandhi or something like that. Like she did some great service for the world.
Like she's she's Muhammad Ali. Like, come on. Like,
Yeah,
stop.
and we forget that she's a perpetrator of DV against a woman multiple times. We forgot about that, Cap.
We know. We've seen the statistics. We've seen the statistics.
Yeah, I don't know if they want to have that conversation. So yeah, I know I was fired up for this one, people, but there's so much non-logic going on surrounding, this sudden, like everybody hopped on the bandwagon all at the same time. All the windows broke, all the tires popped on the bandwagon because everybody just hopped on that sumbitch all at the same time.
Yeah.
It like I feel like not watching in protest because I'm like, yo, I'm not just gonna hop on the bandwagon because that's the next hottest thing out. No, I wasn't a fan before. I'm not gonna pretend that I was a fan this whole time. This BS.
Well, that's pretty much just gonna wrap it up. And I'll say this, right? I'm gonna say this, right? With the So we here at TSB have the same viewership of the WNBA. And if you want us to grow and you want us to succeed and get to a higher echelon where maybe we could make $60,000 a year off this channel, we appreciate if you drop a like, comment, and subscribe. Because without your donation, without your like and your comment to bump us in the algorithm, we will forever be just like the WNBA, constantly in the red. So I am Captain Paul. That's Dr. Evil Genius. And that was a layup. We'll see you in the next one.
You're the Caitlin Clark of this shit, son. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm the undesirable.
You're A.J.
dark
Wilson.
skin that can't be marketed. We out, y'all.